when people are sick of their but they have this constipation that keeping it.
They just keep it.
Yeah, and but then at some point, like
you have to go to the washroom at some point. Yeah, you have to do million hours of yoga. You have to sit days and days in meditation.
Like now all the puzzles come together.
Beautiful, yes.
Like I understood why I'm here, what I have to do, and this, it felt like such bliss that...
Yeah, I want to be the light that burns that takes people away from experiencing true love for life.
And when you know how to get rid of that,
because you've done it on yourself, right?
Yes.
You walked your path, right?
Yes, and I understand the feeling because I was there just a year ago,
yes.
Not that long ago, and you like sincerely want to help. But
they have to be ready. They have to be so sick and tired of their little walls, of their shit.
Yeah.
They tried everything. They tried money, they tried sex, they tried families, they tried recognition, power, everything they tried. And, they really unhappy within themselves, right? Those are my clients.
Hi everyone, this is me, Lily Boiko, and
Mira Uniat,
and our Eternally Fantastic podcast. And before we will start talking about spiritual awakening, I would like to invite you to subscribe to our social platforms such as Instagram, Telegram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and of course to this YouTube channel. So from where to start? This topic I want to discuss from the point of demystifying the experience.
My perception is that it's possible for any human being who is committed to dive within and find their truth there instead of focusing outwardly. And, that part of life is needed. When you try all that, then you'll get to that point where, yes, everything is within me. So it's for any human being who's ready for that.
Right, and I feel like a lot of people perceive it as something religious, and if they are not religious, they don't want to go into it or learn more about it. But in the essence, it's just removing all defense mechanisms and your unconscious reactions to triggers that you face in life, and like going back to your essence, which is love, light, and the soul.
We were born as soul, and then we acquire the shell in the form of those compulsive reactions to external stimuli.
Yeah, so let's explain a bit how does it look like. I mean, when we're born, and correct me if I go, I actually experienced my spiritual awakening a week ago, just a week ago. Yeah, but it feels like more. And Mira was coaching me for over a year. And when I started working with Mira, it wasn't my goal to reach this spiritual awakening, though I knew that you had it 4 years ago, but I never Googled what is it. And
it's not like I had it, it started and it keeps going, it's never ending.
Yes.
So that's what's happening after that. It's just like you get the first taste of it and then it just keeps growing.
Yeah, and it's not like yesterday you were not enlightened and today you're enlightened and that's the end of work. No, it continues to unfold your whole life.
Yes.
But and when I started, I have this perception, I had it, that it's something religious and occult even maybe, and that's why now I want to tell that it's like more of it's not psychology, it's much deeper, but it's working with your mind
and heart.
Yeah. first with your mind, and then when you transcend all the layers of minds, you can reach down to your heart. And when we were started working, first, I think we had an episode about that you helped me work through my divorce.
Which was a catalyst for you?
Yes.
To start journeying your life?
Yes, and before the divorce, I experienced war in Ukraine and immigration to the US, first Canada, then the US. And then we started to just chat about different romantic connections that I had last year, and every connection, every relationship is a tool to understand yourself better and to see those.
I think I'm not needed here anymore. You know it all. Yes.
Finally.
And that's the beauty of it. I want every human being to not need me. Yes. I want them to find those tools within, wherever they can now move on with their lives, applying those tools and be happy,
Yeah.
So that's beautiful that you're saying that.
Thank you. Yes. So, and only then, I think it's about when you were already on your journey, I started listening to deeper podcasts and more information. And
a spiritual trip to India and
yes,
stuff. Yeah.
Yes, when you traveled. And only then I started to understand more maybe about spiritual awakening, that what is, because before I didn't even think about it. I was just trying to master my mind and understand myself better. So how it looks is that when we're born, besides we get conditioned from many sides, like nationality and family conditioning, religion, country, and then we face painful situations, usually during childhood, and each situation affects us deeply makes us develop a defense mechanism not to feel this pain when we face it again. So what happens then? We grow up.
Wow,
your knowledge. So when we grow up and face this situation, this pain, which we already had in childhood, but we already forgot about that. So it becomes unconscious reaction to the pain to avoid it and to go to pleasure, to switch to pleasure as soon as possible, not to live in this pain again. And we then have a lot of layers of these defense mechanisms, and then when we're grown up, we're like robots who don't even feel anything. Just when we just, for example, I had it before when I was on dating apps, and we, by the way, have several episodes about dating on our podcast. When, for example, a man didn't text me, or I felt that this connection is lost, though it wasn't lost in reality, but it was my perception. I switched to the next one. Here it didn't work, so I'll have a date tomorrow. It's not a problem to have a date. And I didn't live through that situation. And of course, I didn't make any conclusions of the previous relationship, not relationship, just connection. And that was my defense mechanism, because I didn't want to feel pain, and I would switch to another person and feel pleasure. And of course, there's no sense in it at all.
Just you caught up in the same
pattern,
wheel of karma.
Yes, yeah. Until I understood that I'm doing wrong. Yes.
Not wrong. You needed that experience. Don't let your mind to call it a wrong experience, because all experience is a good experience,
Yeah.
right? It served you at that time.
Yes. And to
And
see
where you
this
are right now,
pattern.
aren't you in love with the fact that it happened exactly that way?
Yes. Yes. So when we learn how to remove, transcend this defense mechanism, is go into your pain, like meditate on it, feel it, understand where did it come from. Usually it's somewhere in childhood, and rewire your brain in order to change your response to this trigger, not to like blame someone who hurt you, but on the opposite, be grateful, because if not that pain, you wouldn't now be thinking of if not that pain, you wouldn't be the person you are now, and you wouldn't be thinking of where did it come from. You wouldn't try to understand yourself. And actually, each situation that we have, circumstance even that we perceive as bad, then in the future
Proves
it proves that it was,
needed for you.
yes,
It was all for you, not
yes,
against you, but everything is for you.
yes,
Life is not happening to you, it happens for you. Subtle difference, but it's crucial, right?
yes. And it's so often that we first, that situation that we think was bad, then we see the beauty of it later.
Yes. If we learn to.
Yes. So
If this podcast is over, Lily knows it all.
yeah,
No need to talk about it more.
if you also want to have this bliss, Mira can coach you on that. And by the way, we are organizing a retreat on Hawaii.
In Hawaii?
In
Yeah.
Hawaii in the beginning of August. It will be a 7-day retreat, a group of maximum 7 people, us including. Yes, so if you would like to meet us in person to work on your inner well-being, we would be happy to see you there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me about. Oh, let's talk about why my spiritual awakening happened when it happened. Because you had a major breakthrough just one day before mine, and I'm sure it's very connected.
People who follow me on Instagram saw me crying and they were worried that something bad is happening. When you see me crying, everything is eternally fantastic. Now I embrace the tears, and I'm happy to feel my pain because it's showing me the parts of me that I'm not conscious of. So, and every time when I feel that emotion, I welcome it with love. Because when I truly let that go through my system and let myself feel it, after that, the level of bliss and love for life that I feel, after the realization that I have, is just a million times higher than I felt before. So that's how you can fall in love with your pain. I'm not trying to sell you pain, but we have to learn to embrace all polarities and develop that connection with the dimension within that has no judgment whether it's good or bad. It's just there, that loving witness dimension within yourself that wants to experience it all, the witness dimension within that wants to experience what it means to be human. This existence of ups and downs and pain and pleasure, love and fear, all of them are needed. how come we got to the point where we suppress so much pain as humanity, that now it comes out as a desire to kill each other in wars? Look at what happens. What is happening on a collective consciousness? Which vibrations are they reflecting? They are reflecting a lot of suppressed pain and inability to feel.
Yeah.
So I want to start this tsunami in the society where I will advertise tears.
Yeah, because especially I think for men it's even harder to dive into their pain, not to avoid it, but by, I don't know, substances, women, sex, and everything that distracts you from feeling yourself.
Yes. Yeah, so my major spiritual breakthrough that I had about a week ago, it was the biggest one after my first mystical experience that I had in 2020, in August 2020, when I decided to follow my heart, and I felt so much love to my twin flame, to this man that I am still in love with.
We have the second episode about that, second podcast.
Oh, but it's
episode.
a different love, right? I can't even explain it, right? It just keeps growing, maybe because I start feeling so much love for my life and for every part of me, and I found that in that connection. So that's why it's proportional to the increasing love that I start feeling towards my life, and I start loving him more, because I wouldn't be where I am if that wasn't there. But yeah, so a week ago, I had this major spiritual breakthrough right after my trip, after I went to so many places. And I think I told you, I started in Turkey, then I went to Egypt, then Dubai, then Maldives, and then India, of course. And visiting so many different places in India and observing that energy. I didn't really take any courses. I didn't take any, programs, nothing. I just was fully present there, and I observed all the energies. That's what was available, right? Because India is a land of so many enlightened beings. You land there and it's so multidimensional, and it's like a self-organized chaos, right? And you feel the spirit that is so diverse, right? And so different frequencies, and you can find like souls that are just on their first human journey, let's say, and then you feel the spirit of those who found their truth within and transcended human mind and graduated from human experience, right? So it's just amazing to be able to
different polarities.
Yes, like it's a souls who are in fear and they're just starting to figure it out, right? And then you feel the spirit of those who is sharing and like, hey, this is the truth. Basically, I traveled through India. I was in India for about 6 or 7 weeks, and I went to a lot of places where enlightened beings, started their ashrams and meditated in their caves and all that. And I don't even know the names of all the enlightened beings that were there, but I could sense the energy. And what I was able to feel, actually, their pain. I could feel the pain of those who are enlightened and renounced their families and renounced their societies and just went into the cave in nature and next to Ganges River and just meditated and exited their bodies that way. So basically, visiting all those places, and one of the most profound, I think, experiences that I had in terms of feeling the pain of enlightened beings was when I visited a 90-year-old man who, when he was 9 years old, he met his guru. And he left his family. He told his parents, I am following my guru.
Be 9.
9 years old. He left his parents, he left his family, and he followed his guru. And then they reached Rishikesh. And Rishikesh is where Ganges River starts, right? It's close to Himalayas. It's in Himalayas range, and so they started an ashram there, and they built an ashram. And so basically, he's been devoting all his life to making sure that this ashram is delivering the mission to awaken human beings. So I went to see him, and he's old and like wearing this orange robe, and barely he can hear, and I don't speak Hindi, right? But I was with a friend whom I met there. So she then started talking to him, and I was just sitting and like just observing his energy, right? And I just tried to kind of sense what was the pain that got him incarnated here, because he transcended human mind. But there is something that made him come back into physical shape and form. And I wanted to get that answer. I wanted to receive that answer for that. So after we left, I asked my friend, so what was he sharing? So he shared that, when this ashram just started, when we just, built it, a lot of people would come, and they were so committed. They were true seekers of truth. And now when I look at the ashram the way it is right now, people just come here for a picnic. So now I'm going to ask you, what do you think the pain is there that he feels? Is there resistance to the way things are?
Yes, there is.
What's wrong with the picnic?
Yeah, but he feels that people now are not as deep as those who came before. But if they come to an ashram, I think they are at least curious, interested, and they also can become enlightened later.
Yeah, so I think what happened is that in his perception, for some reason, maybe enlightenment or awakening has to be difficult.
For particular.
Yeah, you have to do million hours of yoga. You have to sit days and days in meditation. I think it's a distortion that majority of enlightened beings had, where they thought that there is a certain methodology that people have to follow in order to become enlightened. And if you come to an ashram, you have to go into silence. You have to go into solitude if you are committed, if you're a true seeker, right?
Yeah, that's what I felt about spiritual awakening, that it's for selected like individuals, people that can, for example, I have a 9-year-old child, and I don't have a lot of free time to myself. I at first, when we started working and you told me to meditate, I was like, when, where? Because I don't have the space for myself or time. But it's all about intention, I think, and
Yes.
desire to learn more.
And use your life as a stepping stone towards these realizations. Moment to moment life. Every moment, what reaction, what response do you choose? Do you respond consciously or like a robot? So I would like to debunk the mystery around enlightenment. And if you're truly committed to connect with your authentic self within, then I understand you might not be ready to meditate. But what is meditation? Meditation literally means becoming familiar with
Your thoughts.
You can meditate even when you are going to a grocery store. The observer's eye, the witness eye within yourself, without judgment. You just observe the flow of events in front of you, and you're fully present there. You're not being taken by your mind to what's going to happen tomorrow or what happened yesterday. You're actually fully present there, and that's meditation. You become familiar with everything who you are right now. You're familiar with your thought, with your response. You observe the external world without judgment. You are in this zero dimension, right? So that's meditation you become familiar with, right? But a lot of people misunderstand what meditation is, right? And a lot of people misunderstand what yoga is too, right? They think it's just about twisting and turning their bodies, right? Yoga happens on all levels of existence. So when I was in this ashram and he shared that, yeah, so now it's very rarely we get these true seekers who come and committed to, you know, this path. And I felt his pain, you know, because that's exactly what I felt when I experienced my awakening in 2020, when it started for me, I should say. I felt like I was not home in this civilization and I was born in the wrong time because nobody could understand what I was talking about. And I was like, people are not ready for my energy. And I feel like that was the distortion that a lot of awakened beings had when they were born with this tremendous amount of light within them and they wanted to enlighten people, but people built such thick walls around themselves that they were not receptive. It created certain unconscious pain in enlightened being who was like, well, they're not ready for my energy. I'm just going to exit my body and do Mahasamadhi. Why do you do Mahasamadhi? Why don't you want to watch the full cycle of existence in your body? You know, let your body to run its course. Watch the movie. Why are you rushing? You know?
Yeah, and when spiritual awakening happens, you see like the whole world as a movie with characters, and you understand that they're not acting to hurt you consciously. Or most of people, they are just given an unconscious reaction, and you stop even blaming them for this unconscious because you understand that it's unconscious, and you feel compassion to them instead
First is
of
forgiveness.
yeah,
Like compassion, forgiveness, right? And you're not walking around pretending you forgive and then come back and you yell at that person. You know, true forgiveness, it's about when you actually convert that emotion, you provide a different response. And through realization, it's like, wow, he's not conscious. He is not able to feel his pain. How is he supposed to feel mine? How? It's not possible. Yeah, so I realized that a lot of enlightened beings had the pain of not being heard and not being understood. And that's exactly the pain I had before I embarked on this trip that I was away for almost 4 months. Because I really felt like I'm not being heard. I'm not being heard by the family, by people who are supposed to support me and, you know, hear me out. And like I was really under impression that the world was not ready for who I am, for the energy and for my intention, and for the love that I am willing to give and you know, help humanity to experience that part within themselves that never dies. And you know, the catharsis that I had, the first pain, the glimpse of it started in December around Christmas, and I was at Christmas market with my sister and her two kids, and I just started crying all of a sudden. And I was like, the world is not ready for me. I want to go to Himalayas and just disappear. She's like, you're crazy. You have a wonderful life. You know, and then, you know, in January I quit my job and yeah, decided to leave everything behind and see what I want to do. So during this trip that I was away for 4 months, I kind of realized that it was my pain that I carried even, you know, through my past karma and everything that I experienced before as a consciousness, right? The experiences I collected in my memory bank. So that frequency was there, the frequency of like you have such intention to help and nobody is willing to receive.
here. Yeah.
You know, so there is no reflection back. You just go shining, but there is like it's like everybody wants to be in shadow and you're just burning their nervous system with your light, you know? And I don't want to hurt people. Like I really want to work with people who are mature enough to absorb my light, you know? And I think before my trip, it was not that conscious yet. Like I just felt that I am not being hurt and I'm not needed in the world, and I am inefficient of helping people to wake them up, because of course they reflect that they're not ready to have me. So then I do something within myself, something that is not really helping them to open up to receive, you know. So when I got back, walked into the apartment where I lived with my sister my sister lived with me for about 2 years and her 2 kids, and I was very much, I would say, dwelling in that identity of being a good, loving sister with her, and just that training that heart chakra in me to really unconditional love, because you know how it is with kids and the family situations come up, and I always was committed to provide a loving response. That was my commitment to my own evolution, right? And then I got back after my trip and I walked into my apartment and I'm like, wow, I no longer feel like a sister. I no longer feel like a daughter. I no longer feel like a friend. I no longer feel like a woman, neither man or woman, not my body, not my mind. I'm just nothing. Like literally all these layers just disappeared. I'm just a witness of the whole thing. And I'm just light. I have this light within me. And, what I'm going to do with it. Do I want to leave now and just, do my thing and exit my body because I have so much light? Or I want to play with it? How I'm going to have fun with it? Something that I wasn't able to do in my past lives in terms of healing people. How can I really improve this skill of mine to wake people up? So what was holding me back? What garbage within me? What distortion within me was holding me back from experiencing success of waking people up? And I was sitting in this meditation and all these realizations started coming, and I realized, wow, I have this light. That means I'm a manifester. The way I look at things and people, I'm programming them to be that way because I have tremendous amount of light. So manifestation power is strong, but I was manifesting undesired outcome through my projection, because my projection on people was that they're not ready to wake up.
Like that man from the ashram.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, I was hurting everyone around me because I was programming them to be not ready for awakening. And I started crying because I felt this pain of taking souls away from waking up. I was crying like crazy. And then I decided to call you and ask for forgiveness. Because I told you, Lila, I'm sorry for my projection. Because I've been looking at you this over a year as if you're not ready to wake up. And that was coming from my unreconciled, it was my defense mechanism. So it's you're not ready, right? So it's, again,
it's not me, it's you.
It's not me,
Yes,
but yes. It was my projection. And I'm a manifester. I have tremendous amount of light to manifest reality. And I was manifesting everyone as not being ready to wake up. And that was my defense mechanism around unreconciled pain of not being heard and of being not needed and of being as if like I'm born at the wrong time. People don't hear me. So I'm going to leave and renounce everything and go into Himalayas and do Mahasamadhi and exit my body. Because that's what I've done in my past lives. Spiritual mumbo jumbo for those who might not be, that deeply connected with their inner self. But this is my reality, I just dive so deep now and I realize that there is no end to that. So I started crying that I was manifesting undesired outcome and projecting on people that they're not true seekers. They're not committed seekers of truth. Exactly what that enlightened being, you know, very beautiful soul, but that was his distortion and he reminded me mine. Isn't it magical?
Yeah.
And when I had that breakthrough, I was like, wow, I'm gonna see awakening everywhere. Like I'm gonna
Like now, even songs like, oh, she must be an awakened being.
it's such a basic song, right?
Yeah.
And I started seeing awakening everywhere. And then next day you called me, and when I removed my block, right? Like when I removed my distortion and my projection on you, and I asked for forgiveness in you, and I said, I'm sorry, I was projecting this on you. I was manifesting you this way. And that created a blockage between us, right? My own blockage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I really, really appreciate you being in my life, that you proved me wrong, that people are ready to wake up and people are ready to experience this dimension within themselves that's beyond body and mind. You proved me wrong because you came with a tremendous amount of light as well, and you are here to lead people to truth. So I am really grateful for our friendship and for you having enough light to show my own distortion.
Oh, thank you. I'm actually, I was very surprised to hear that you thought that you're not needed, like for that people don't understand you. Of course, I know that like the closest family, it's very hard to see that they don't take the information, though they are. It just takes them probably
Maybe I just
longer.
didn't see them take it. That's the thing. I was projecting them as if they are not receiving my information.
Yeah, but throughout the last year, I was like texting you every day what to do, and you always helped me to understand me and to like see everything, and that's why I was so surprised that how can you think that you are not useful, because like my life changed. I am a different person now, even before the like my mystical spiritual experience, which happened a week ago. Still, the way I felt myself a year ago, just after the divorce, and now it's a completely different state. So it was very useful even before and now it's even it's like a whole different state.
It's all it's a play of energy, right? And there is not like I did something wrong or somebody did something right. And it was unconscious in me.
Yeah.
You see? So that's why I was happy that the like
That you
pain.
saw it.
Yeah, like I am so happy that I saw it, because now it helps me to be efficient in what I like, the way I look at the person, like the eyes gazing meditation. I want to reach that mastery where people will experience this mystical, you know, connection with that eternal dimension in eyes gazing meditation with me. Like I want my projection to be strong to that point where people will be waking up just after one session of eyes gazing meditation with me.
How long did it take?
Oh, I want, like, I don't know how long. I don't develop that. Like, see, it depends how much rubbish I still have within myself. Because it's all about the intensity of light, right? So what is guru? Guru, in essence, it means light. So light that shows the shadows, right? It lights up the blockages within people, right? It's consciousness, it's awareness, right? So basically, you just project so much light on a human being that that awareness being soaked in and lights up their own garbage. I want to burn shit.
Yeah, light that burns
that holds
shit.
people back. Yeah, I want to be the light that burns shit, that takes people away from experiencing true love for life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when you feel it, it's so like I can't understand why people don't, why all people don't want to feel it, like not want but hold themselves, trying, like being afraid of this stuff.
Well, question to you: when you when you experience these mystical moments, right? Usually your body is just full of some. I get sweaty. These emotions are just going through me. You don't get temperature, but you feel like you are on fire. And it's illogical. It happens out of the blue. And usually it's just that energy that's not physical, it's entering your system to expand. That's awareness, that's light, right? To expand the existing boundaries, right? So the response in your system is like sweatiness or like unexplained emotions, shaking. And so when a person has very deep unawareness of their body, and they developed a lot of fear about every experience that they have in their bodies. It's like, oh my God, what is happening? I'm dying. Or, oh my God, I'm sick. And what do? They manifest a disease. They use this powerful energy because it's unexplainable experience. It's a logical experience. So they use this energy to manifest a disease because they are scared of it. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So before awakening, it's really important to do the work with your mind, the way we did it with you, where you really become conscious of your fears and how it works and what stimuli are provoking your fear, right? And the narratives and all this. So you become so aware of your mind, you develop that almost like an eye of observer of your mind, that you no longer take it as truth and you just give in and experience it. And that's awakening. That just takes you to the highest peak of this, feelings and emotions you've never experienced. You cry, you experience love and joy and peace because this is such a relief. This new energy enters and you make space for it. Instead of suppressing it through fear, you make space for it to enter your system. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the work before that is crucial. But the first mystical experience that you had, it's a peak of that.
Yeah, and only the beginning of the future.
Yes, because these experiences will be coming more and more often, and they will be more and more enjoyable and unexplainable
and intense, right?
And intense, yes.
Yeah.
And your heart you will start seeing how much more energy in your body. After every mystical experience that I have, like I feel my body is even like the pulsations and vibration is so much more stronger. I feel like I can just lift the whole building and go. Like the strength I feel in my body after every mystical experience, I can't explain it. You don't really need to sleep much. Like during those days that I had it for 5 days, I slept like 4 hours, and I wasn't sleepy.
Even yesterday we went to my favorite beach at the ocean, the La Push beach on Olympic Peninsula here in Seattle area, and it was like a 4-hour drive with a ferry, and then back we drove for 5 hours, and it was a one-day trip, and we even didn't like put an alarm to go earlier in the morning because we both like to sleep and like have a relaxed, slow morning. And then we went to do some errands, and then so we went to the beach like we waited for the ferry like on a sunny Saturday day for several hours, but we weren't resisting this reality that like, oh, we would be late, or because we enjoyed communication, and it's the same communication as we
doesn't matter where we sit, whether we sit here or in the car.
Yeah,
we talk about the same things pretty much.
Yeah, and so we came there by I think 4 or 5, something like that. And we we meditated, we talked, we watched the sunset, and we drove left at 9. And then we discovered that the last ferry was already gone. So we had to take a 2 or 5 hours drive back to Seattle. And we were home at 3 a.m. And I was driving all the way, though you offered to switch, but I didn't feel like I'm exhausted, though when before I thought of driving 4 hours and then 5 hours, and even without staying there overnight. It was like, it's crazy. For just being at the beach for several hours,
yes.
It's crazy. But I love it. It's so adventurous, and we had so much fun. And
fun, not hey, it was
deep, very, very deep experience.
It's amazing that you enjoy this stuff.
Yes, and we came back, and the night before you came here, and we went to sleep at 2. And even today we went back to yesterday, came back at 3, and then woke up not very early, but I don't feel this, I'm not tired at all. And yesterday we almost didn't eat the whole day.
Yes.
Yeah, and still we have a lot of energy and enthusiasm. And yeah, it feels very good.
Well, welcome to my club. Now I'm not the only one crazy talking about awakening, I mean, I know a lot of people do talk about awakening, but I think because for me it was intense and I had no idea what was happening. And I was in an environment that, oh, maybe you're crazy. Why are you giving away your stuff? It was almost the external stimuli were all trying to move me down the spiral. And I think because I didn't know what was happening with me, the fact that I kept going is just, and now I know where I am. I just know that it's unstoppable. Nothing can stop it if it's there. If you captured enough light, like the light body, if it has enough light, it will happen in this lifetime. If not, I'm not going to burn your nervous system, because my projection on every human being now, on every human being, is on every soul. I want them to wake up, right? I want them to be able to see their distortions, to shed light on their existing limitations, on these existing walls that suppress this spirit or energy that wants to expand, right? That's my projection, because I see that in me, that was my reality, right? So if a person just builds their tiny little walls and they are not mature enough, they don't want to burn their walls. They have to be ready. They have to be so sick and tired of their little walls, of their shit.
Yeah.
That they tried everything. They tried money, they tried sex, they tried families, they tried recognition, power, everything they tried. And, they really unhappy within themselves, right? Those are my clients. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And let's talk a bit about how does it physically feel, because if I don't know how you live through it without having a guru, a guide who would explain what happened, because when I felt that, I didn't read a lot about spiritual awakening, so probably I felt that it was very strange and something that I never felt before. And I called you, and you said that, oh, that's it, that's the awakening, you're feeling it. Enjoy.
Yes.
Yes. But what I felt,
because I wanted you to experience it, right? I was looking forward to that moment.
Yes. But if I didn't call you, I probably didn't understand that what was it. And it felt like we were chatting in writing, and Mira told shared her vision
For life, right?
for life, yes, and it so deeply resonated with mine that it was like, oh my god, how I haven't seen that before, and you shared it in very like details that triggered me.
Triggered, or they
I mean,
in what way?
they not
Resonated. The detail.
triggered in a positive way. I mean, it's like what I would really want to
To
have.
experience.
Yes, and in some moment, and then we stopped like talking, and then in about an hour, for this hour, I don't know, like meditating, or just I was in my bed, just like daydreaming about that experience that I would have, and it was like becoming like more and more joyful for me. And at some point, I felt like, wow, this is like now all the puzzles come together.
Beautiful, yes.
Like I understood why I'm here, what I have to do, and this. It felt like such a bliss that I started like laughing, crying, shaking, and everything at the same time. And I was like, I called you. I also have this video, and I couldn't even hold my phone because it was like shaking like that. And then I felt like so much happy that I wanted to like go to the balcony and cry. Yes. The world is mine. Like, yes. Hello, people. Yeah, and this like state was for the whole day, and I think like several days, but it became lighter. I wasn't shaking all the 3 days. It was just for maybe 10 minutes or something like that. But this like uplifting state lasted for several days. Yes. And now it's like a drug. You want to try to...
See, like that's how you actually no longer need alcohol or drugs. You actually want to feel it now, because every day you wake up and you start seeing how reality is getting aligned according to that vision. You see?
Yeah.
Like you start seeing every little thing. Oh, yeah, that's a part of this vision. That's a part. Your consciousness starts basically seeing and recognizing your future self. That feelings, that you are trending to experience, right? Your consciousness is trying now to suck it back in this physical world, right? Your heart. You send out the signal through your mind, through the thoughts. You taught your body to feel it. You taught your heart to feel it, right? So now the heartbeat is aligned with that vision, right? So there is no longer fear, which is making your heart to contract from the signal. The outreach is way smaller when we're in a state of fear, right? When we experience this tremendous amount of love during awakening, right? We teach your heart to grasp higher, to expand further. And then through heart and brain coherence, now your brain is aligned with your heart. So your brain and your mind, your mind becomes a projector, and your heart is electricity. And now the love that you have, that's your light. You see? So now your mind is not focused why it's not possible for your mind. It's like it's already happening. I see every little puzzle every day, how it's getting me closer in this physical world. Because I already taught my body to feel it. It's like basically we get aligned, we get in tune with our future self. And what is our future self? Our future self, it's a frequency, it's a feeling.
It's like the manifesting technique that you teach yourself to have a feeling which you will have when your wish will be fulfilled. But that was like in theory, and that's here you really feel it.
It's just you can't teach your body to feel it if your mind doesn't give you a green light, So that experience that you had, that energy that you were able to receive, it only entered your system because your mind, analytical mind, this human analytical mind, which is so programmed for survival, right? So during my work with people, what I do is that I actually transform that analytical mind from huge survival tool into creation tool. Okay, so that people start experiencing less and less fear in their life, right? So that creates some space for new energy to enter. So once there is that threshold for awakening happens on energy level, and enough space has been created within a human being through dismantling all the unconscious fears, right? So you created space. It's like when you want to do completely change everything in your house, like in your apartment, you remove everything and you bring in new shit. Okay, maybe divine this time. Maybe divine shit.
Remove shit and
Bring divine shit, which is still shit. I'm not even attached to the illusion that I have to wake people up. It's my illusion. I'm very conscious of that, So, but it's divine shit. I mean, I'm having fun with it, And it's a noble purpose to wake people up. I love it, It's coming from my deepest love. Now I go to the grocery store and I look at into the eyes of a person there. I was like, yes, you are waking up. Who knows, maybe tonight will happen for you, So that's what happens in awakening. So basically you work with your analytical mind, you expand its limitations in terms of what's possible. And once you burn enough limitations, it creates space for new energy to enter. And when that knocks at your door, that future self, the feeling, knocks at your door, your analytical mind is not like, this is not possible. This is not possible. Like what I'm thinking, this is illusion. I'm just gonna go like take something, like I'm gonna do something. I have to be busy. Mm-hmm. And you shut down the door to the future self that was just knocking to transform your whole existence. You see? So in order for that not to happen, you really need to achieve certain mastery of how you treat your mind and how you treat your thought process and how you actually develop that level of awareness of the thought and how your mind works, right? So that when this inspiration, the future self, the inspiration, which means spirit, mm-hmm. You are in spirit now, right? Mm-hmm. You are aligned with the spirit, right? It's flowing through, there are no blockages. You are evergreen. You're always waking up new, fresh day, fresh start, So when this vision, when this future self or spirit or you name it, and knocks at your door, analytical mind doesn't shut it down. It welcomes, yeah, it's possible. Come on in. Let me feel it. So analytical mind opens the door, and feeling is a frequency. It's a vibration, right? And it teaches your body to vibrate according to that feeling of your future self. You're actually teaching your physical body to manufacture the hormones, the highest level of love hormones and serotonin, oxytocin, all of this, happy hormones and chemicals. You teach your body to manufacture the highest level of love. Then it gets imprinted on your memory. That becomes a benchmark for you. You become addicted to that level of love. You just want more of it. Okay? And that's how you start in this physical reality. You start becoming a magnet for that experience to find you. Because now your body got a taste of it. Now your eyes are seeing it everywhere already happening. You see? Mm-hmm. And now the only thing is like, it already happened. The only thing left is to see it with your two eyes. And every day, little by little, the sketch becomes a picture. Mm-hmm. And you just enjoy the way everything unfolds every day, right? And that's what happened with me when I removed this block that people are not ready to wake up. Mm-hmm. I started seeing awakening everywhere. Yeah. I was like, wow, like if this happened, if I saw this a week ago, I wouldn't be able to see.
Yeah, that's the shift, perception shift.
Yes. I was like, wow, like I am molding my reality through my perception. Do you understand how it works, right? So you're basically letting that inspiration, that frequency, it's an energy, like the feeling of the future is an energy,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You let that to enter your system because now your analytical mind is receptive to it. It's not rigid.
Not blocking. Yeah.
Oh, it's not possible. I'm not good enough to experience that. Look how many, things I've went through and miracles never happened. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's why you work first with your mind to know that you actually can, that you're worthy of it, because like all these blocks that of guilt and being afraid all the time, and like when they are gone, then you know that you're worthy of the best experiences. And that is like the best experience, actually. Yes, and I also wanted to talk a bit about how your perception, right, changes after the awakening, or how do you, like, on the level of feeling, how is it different? That I, for example, felt that I have much more love to give, and that I love like all people more, and especially, for example, I felt it with my son, with whom before like I have this thing that I didn't see myself as a good mother, though, like,
feeling of guilt.
yes, and now I saw him like from another side. If before he was making me
Angry.
like angry because he's a very active kid, and he needs my attention all the time, and before I felt like I don't have enough space, time for myself, then now, of course, still sometimes it happens. It's not like I'm a completely like a different person. Like I still have these doubts or fears coming, but I understand where do they come from, and like go back to the blissful state faster.
Beautiful.
Yes, and now I began.
So now what happens on the level of your body? Now that you don't dwell in those feelings long, then the amount of chemicals, that hormones that support that frequency in your body is decreased. So you're converting the processes in your body, taking them further away from
my son.
Привіт, Марко.
Можеш по подкасті сказати привіт. Англійською.
Hello. Ви потім вирішите?
Ні.
Як мені кажуть,
You'll become popular, Mark.
можеш повітря взяти? Щоб в катері не було видно, як я самокат.
Yeah, so that was probably the first thing that I noticed about myself, that I started feeling more love, started having more love inside. And then, for example, also I feel difference in my desire to communicate with people. I mean, for the first several days when I was like uplifted, my spirit was, I was quite active, but then I had several days when I wanted to be by myself.
Yes.
And I had several weekends planned ahead, and I canceled those plans because I just want to like be alone, and I don't feel lonely. I just want to devote time to myself, and it's like I want to, first I wanted to share a lot about this experience, but that now I think I want to keep it a little to myself. Of course I will be sharing, and we are sharing now, but I feel like I want to talk deeply, like with people about such topics, not just some surface conversations, small talks, and like that's now I don't want to have. So that those were probably.
And what about your intention, in terms of your business or...
Oh, yeah. Yes. For several last month, I was thinking how to, like, what because I have several projects, and one of my projects is the one which I'm making money from, and but I feel like I don't I don't feel that much fulfillment from it now, and I was doing like it automatically, like to get the money, though it was I was making myself do videos there because I felt like I don't have this inspiration anymore, though like 2 years ago I had huge inspiration. That's why it blossomed, but now it's like I think the expiry date has come naturally, and then I had these projects, the Eternal Fantastic and working with you, which I feel very inspired by, but like I didn't have, I didn't see that vision which would bring the money from it like quickly, as fast as from that project. And I was thinking maybe going back to my marketing past, which I'm like 10 plus years in digital marketing, but I also and thought maybe to do it with spiritual leaders, which like was partly this what I'm doing. So to make it somewhere in between that thing that I liked and thing that I didn't like.
You should be the leader.
Yes, yes. So now that with that vision, that when I was woke up, awakened, I understood that I don't want to like have this thing that brings me half joy, or like I want to be fully in the thing that I'm passionate about, and I don't care that much about money anymore because I see here an impact, and like when I will be leaving my body, I would see how many people we've helped, and it would be a much more fulfilling yes, than just, for example, I've went through one post of a girl that I knew before, and she is very successful in terms of career and money making, and if before, and maybe she is also spiritual, I actually don't know, but and they are building like a cottage town now, and it's and if before I would think that wow, that she is like she's successful, she has made so much money in like small period of time, and I want to be like her, and now I'm thinking, okay, so like this cottage town is like, what is it for? To make money, and then like to invest this money again and make more money, and what is the like final destination? Just money? And if it's just money, then what's the point? Because like they, and people, as you told, having more and more money doesn't bring them closer to happiness if they didn't find their truth within, their connect to their inner self and experience this state of love, happiness, bliss, and yeah, and it's such a great feeling that you want to other people to feel it, because now when you communicate with people, you see that that they're very like light, have a lot of light inside. You feel that they are like kind and generous and like very light soul, right? Mm-hmm. But because of this, a lot of
shell.
Like, shells, yeah, on
thick shell of
Yes.
Analytical mind and survival programming.
Yeah, and they are suffering because of that. And when you know how to get rid of that,
Because you've done it on yourself, right?
Yes.
You
And
walked your path, right?
Yes, and I understand the feeling because I was there just a year ago,
Yes.
not that long ago. And you sincerely want to help. But again, you can help only if the person came to that amount of pain when they think that it's enough. I'm open to getting the information.
Doctor, heal me.
Yes, yes, yes. And then you come across our podcast, and that's everything.
And we'll burn your shit.
Yes. So feel free.
Feel free. Sounds exciting, right?
Hilarious.
I told so if you ask me, what's your new identity? I'm a shit burner.
Yesterday we were laughing so loud in the car, and we made this analogy, like when people are sick of their shit inside, but they have this constipation that they're keeping it.
They just keep it.
Yeah, and but then at some point,
you have to go to the washroom at some point.
and just take it out, and then Mira can burn it and transform it into
yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a good ending to this episode.
Yeah, thank you, Lily, for sharing about your awakening experience, and I am so blessed to have you in my life, and thank you for being such a bright light that was able to shed light on my shadow, and which helped me to become more efficient in terms of helping people.
Thank you, and thank you for being there for me all this year. I mean, with that, that amount of time and energy that you put in for me, and how you I don't think that any person ever invested so much time in my well-being, and it was so sincere. That's thank you.
I love you.
I love you too.